Am I wrong for ruining my ex's reputation? Hello, guys. This is Little Miss, and welcome to Little Miss Reddit, where we dive into all kinds of interesting Reddit stories and ask for your opinions and comments. Let's see what today's story is all about. U214 says, to start, I'll give some background. Me and him dated for months, and things were great. Eventually, I found out that everything he told me was a lie. Him having a cat was a lie. Him having brothers was a lie. He also manipulated me into doing sexual things for him, gaslit me. Basically, I was unhappy and felt violated and disrespected, among several other issues. I wasn't perfect, but geez, that was the worst relationship I've had. This isn't about the problems, though. It's about how I handled them. I ended things, which resulted in several calls from him, threats, etc. He also spread lies and false things about people and made me block or distance myself from our friends. This is, in my opinion, my reasoning behind it. This is not the center of the post, however. Afterwards, I began telling other people about everything. Rather than be mature about it, I took to telling people. Screenshots I had collected, things he said, everything I could. My goal, in all honesty, was to get back at him and also to show other people who he really was as a person. The people I told informed other people, and it spread around, and eventually everyone who knew him found out. People began to hate him, mess with him, and distance themselves from him, even at his job. He developed a horrible reputation because of what I told people, and eventually he moved away to get away from it all. In his words, I didn't have to tell people this stuff, and it should have stayed between us because no one else was involved to begin with, in which I see and understand his point. He told me bad stuff was happening to him because of me and what I said or did. The issue is, I feel like I took it too far. I could have moved on from it or told a few people and let that be the end. Instead, I chose to deliberately ruin people's view of him, forcing him to even have to move. So am I wrong for how I handled it? By ruining his reputation instead of being the bigger person here? This is quite an interesting story, and I can't wait to hear what everybody's opinion is. Our first opinion comes from KatePig123. She says, why wouldn't you warn all your friends he's a pathological liar? You wouldn't want them taken advantage of by him. Actually, that fact that he is an abusive liar is not between the two of you, as he will go on and replicate this behavior again. Throwaway 34 says it wasn't between them the moment he started involving other people and hurting original poster. I would have been the bigger person, but if you start spreading lies to get at me just because I wanted to end things with you, then I'm not going to hold myself back from saying the truth. The thing is, people have the choice to believe what they want to, and I think original poster telling the truth also made those people come to their own conclusion. So maybe the ex was lying to everyone personally, hence people stopped being friends with them or interact with them. You don't lie and stir drama if you don't want karma to come back to you. No Clue says, you did the world a favor. Well done. I'm left with PTSD after a similar relationship, and at the end, I chose to do the same. There was no way in hell I would have allowed him to abuse another person. It was my duty to let everyone know his true colors. Even though I don't know you, I'm proud of you. Sudden Possible says, I'd love to hear his side before deciding. But bullying people is never okay. Lycanthrop says, I mean, kinda, yeah. You ended the relationship, which was cool, and should have left it at that. Maybe tell your own circle, answer to those who ask, but the getting back at him? Actively going after people that maybe you didn't know to tell them a story they didn't ask to hear? What for? You had nothing to gain from it. You should have instead tried to move on from it, which you're still trying to achieve. Also, Who lies about having a cat? At least say you have an owl or something cool like that. Original poster replies to that with, "He also manipulated me into doing sexual things for him." Mediocre Key says, "How did he do that? I need oral sex or my diabetes will kill me?" Rakendra says, "It's typically emotional and/or psychological abuse or manipulation used to wear down the victim into doing things that he or she is not truly willing to do or comfortable doing. Begging, cajoling, threatening, throwing a tantrum for refusal. Plenty of tactics used by the abuser to direct guilt, fear, shame, or any other negative emotion onto the victim in order to coerce them into compliance. The abuser will try to reason with the victim, will use twisted logic to push their agenda, and will say anything to strip away the victim's resolve. You're my partner, so you're supposed to do this for me. It's your job as my partner to satisfy me. I do everything to support you. You owe me this. I want to try this act because it will make me happy. Don't you want me to be happy? I'm stressed out. I had a bad day. I need this release. This is the only way I can be satisfied. Why won't you do this for me? I thought you loved me. If you won't do this for me, I'll have to find someone else who will, and it'll be your fault." I could go on and on. The victim learns early on not to refuse. The abuser will demand, "Why not?" It's a simple but hostile interrogation that puts the victim on the defense and in fear because he or she has learned that revealing their discomfort often leads the abuser reacting angrily. Then they throw out accusations like, "There's no reason you should feel that way. You're being ridiculous. You're being selfish. You just want to withhold this from me because you're being spiteful." Such accusations are meant to make the victim feel further guilt and shame. The victim is made to feel an obligation to prove that these accusations are false. Thus, they will comply with the abuser's demands. The abuser refuses to see any reason why the victim would be experiencing discomfort with the demanded acts. This is deliberately done to diminish the value of the victim's feelings and needs. The abuser often knows that what he or she is doing is harmful to their partner, and there is guilt associated with that. But by reducing the victim to being of lesser importance or shifting blame onto the victim, the abuser can have their desires met and justify their poor treatment of their partner, while also reducing the emotional consequences, especially when the victim is suffering. Mediocre Key says, "Okay, but I wanted to know directly from the original poster what her ex did, not a summary of anything that was possible." I love when the posters talk back and forth to each other. Crispy Ho says, "You exposed a shitty person's true colors to others in his life. That can be really intimidating to do, but shitty people need to be exposed. You did a great thing by not letting him get away with how he treated you. Great job." New Lettuce says, "Why is it abusers always want it to stay between you and them? Maybe you did for revenge, but some girl is thankful you did, because she heard what a horrible abusive guy he is. Hope he changes, but I wouldn't take any chances." Tsunami Jim says, "Bad stuff is not happening to him because of what you did. Bad stuff is happening to him because of what he did. You just let people know the real him, and he is facing the consequences of what he did to you and being a terrible person in general." And our last commenter, Fearless Button, says, "You're not wrong. If I were you, I'd do much more. He deserves it." Ooh, there has been a slight differing of opinion in this one today. What's your opinion? Should she have told everyone she knew and people she didn't know all about him? Should she really have taken revenge on him through his social life and all of his social interactions? Enough that he felt like he had to literally move away. Did he get what he deserved, or was she too rough in this situation? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification icon. Until next time, my friends, keep the conversation rolling.